everybody, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are having an absolutely amazing day. If you're new here, hi, I'm Liz, aka My Pastel Past, and I'm back with another video for you all. A few of you might have seen a few days ago, I released a new custom code that I made for a mini golf path. So for today's video, we're going to actually be creating this little mini golf section next to, I believe this is June's house, but I might be wrong. But if you like this kind of content and you want to see more, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like the video. And with that being said, we're just gonna hop right into the video and start building. So the first thing that I had to do for this build was kind of set up the entranceway for the mini golf park, which is what I'm doing here. It's kind of like the entrance slash reception section of the little bit of attraction that I have on this island. Now I'm really excited for this because even though the mini golf section is done for this part of the island, the entire idea or concept that I'll be creating here isn't. I really need to start grinding on Happy Home Paradise so I can start customizing villager homes, because the villager home I have right next to this mini golf area, I want to kind of tie into this build. For when I think of mini golf, I really think of like arcades and gaming and having some fun. So for this build in particular, I want to create the interior of the villager's home to be an arcade. Since we only have like one floor, I had to really pick what I wanted to do, whether that be like the reception or the arcade section. And I figured I can make the reception or the front desk on the outside of the island leading into the actual mini golf area, but the inside is going to be like an arcade, so that's going to be fun. I think there's a party floor in the game. I'm not sure if I like it all that much or not, so I might end up trying to make my own code for it, but that is something that I am very excited to be building in the future. I just need to actually start doing Happy Home Paradise builds. The next thing that I had to do was kind of outline how big this area was going to be, so I knew how much room I had to work with. In the end, it was a lot smaller than what I realized, so it ended up being a lot more difficult to kind of arrange the mini golf paths than I originally thought. I also once again was able to use these wood planks that I made earlier in my island designing, just as a way of creating this pathway in between mini golf sections. I've only done mini golfing a few times in my life, so I don't really have that much to go off of. But when I was kind of creating this original mini golf course, I kept going back to the only mini golf I've ever really seen, which is the one at West Edmonton Mall, which is my childhood home. So I kept kind of like thinking of how that mini golf area in particular kind of twisted and turned. So that's what I was really trying to focus on when it came to this part of the build, trying to create paths and layouts that kind of merged in with one another or wrapped around each other, almost like a snake would. That way, if you were to actually play on this, it wouldn't just be like a straight putt into the hole. You'd have to kind of like move around. So that's what I tried to do. And then I just added the path work here and there around it to kind of connect all the different holes together. In the end, I couldn't do too many holes just because of how small the area was, and I did want to leave a decent amount of space to decorate inside of it. One thing that I always think of whenever I think of mini golf is all of the fun decorations and I guess like attractions that they have around it. I always think of the one giant Ferris wheel that you have to aim your ball into the little hole and not have it get brought away by the little windmill like things. Unfortunately, we don't have a giant windmill. I mean, we kind of do in terms of farming, but not necessarily ones that work for mini golf, so I couldn't incorporate that. But I did end up using a lot of the plaza items because they were kind of fun to incorporate into something like mini golf. Specifically, I was able to use the giant plaza balloon inflatable animal, which is something that I've always wanted to incorporate into a build and I've never had the chance to, so I'm really happy I was finally able to use that. I also tried to keep in mind when creating this build to make sure I left room to have trees around it, that way it kind of still felt very tropical and outdoorsy. Even in mini golf areas that are indoors, I noticed that they put a lot of the time things like fake trees or fake plants around. So I wanted to make sure I was incorporating as many fake plants, or I guess in this case it's not necessarily fake plants, but plants in general. That way it just kind of looked right. And I guess the overall layout for how I set up the different holes for this mini golf section was to just kind of make it twist and turn into one another. So it ends up creating or becoming a giant spiral, kind of like that one Nook Mile Ticket Island. I think y'all know the one I'm talking about, but the one that just kind of like curves in on itself. But right now I'm working on the last hole here. This one was the most difficult for me because I wanted to leave as much space as possible for the inflatable balloon animal plaza item, but also have enough room for something like an outdoor bath, which I did end up using, because I feel like when it comes to golfing, there's always water and there's always that risk that you're going to accidentally aim your little golf ball into the body of water, which when I used to play golf, I would always end up doing. And since this area is so tight and small, I couldn't use actual terraforming for bodies of water, so instead I opted in to use an outdoor bath, which I think turned out pretty well. I was originally going to use things like street lamps to illuminate this area, because in the end I do want to get some images or photos of my island in the early morning or late night when it's like dusk or dawn, just so I can see them kind of lighting up more. And I thought the floor lights were just more fitting for a mini golf section than something big like a street lamp would be. Granted, I still use some of them in this build, I just didn't use very many. And then again, I'm just placing a few extra trees in here to kind of bring in the area. I really did want to place trees close to the rocks right on the edge there, and it kind of annoys me that we're not able to. I don't fully understand why. I think it has something to do with the rocks or the edge, but I still would have liked being able to have the option to place trees closer to the end of the my island, but apparently not. At this point, the big bulk section of the mini golf course is done, and now it's just about adding some cute little items here and there for decoration. I used as much greenery as I could along with the outdoor bath, as you can see. That way I could have my little bit of water item or water factor in this build. I ended up using some of the glowing moss balloons to kind of add some color and have something fun in there. I did originally want to use the decaying tree, but turns out it's far too big for any area in here, and I did end up taking away that balloon wagon in the end. It was just far too tall for the area that was in, and I couldn't find a place for it, so I ended up taking it away and just leaving the round topiary instead. After that, I added a few flowers and some shrubs here and there, and then it was just a matter of letting them all grow out and looking at the final build for it. I also ended up running out of flowers, so I had to run all the way across my island to pick some up. Always a fun track to have to run back and forth across your island when you realize you're out of flowers or trees or whatever it is, to my little area patch of land where I have them all farming and sitting ready to go. But this is the final look for the mini golf course. I ended up setting this in mid-July, so it was very bright and green and luscious and bright. Right now I'm just kind of walking the, I guess, main course of the mini golf path here, just so you can see everything that it has to offer. I'm really happy with how it turned out, and I kind of wish that it was functional. I wish that we could actually play mini golf in Animal Crossing. How cool would that be if we were able to do that? Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the build. Let me know if you end up using this mini golf course path, or if you make your own mini golf course on your island. I would love to see what you all create. But with that being said, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!